Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be continuing What If Naruto Had the Powers of Eren. But before we get into that, I'll please like to remind you all to leave a like on the video, as it helps me and the channel out a lot and it pushes my content out. But if you haven't left a like on the video, don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, now that you've clearly left a like on the video, we can get into the video. So Naruto asks Sakura why she pulled him off to the side, and she immediately blurts out this dude's name. His name is Gaara, and Naruto, hearing his name before, and actually it's been the topic of several whispers all throughout the village, she asks Naruto has she heard of him, and Naruto was like, yeah, his name has been lingering throughout the village. Why? What's the deal with him? And she tells Naruto that he's a Jinchuriki. He's a Jinchuriki of the One Tails and a Shinobi of the Sand Village. And that he's done horrible things and he's also very strong. And that maybe he should do just a slight bit of, like, just a little bit more training before they end up crossing paths. So Naruto, like, taking this into consideration, he thanks he thanks Sakura and tells Sakura that instead of being, just a Konoichi, maybe she could also be an information gatherer, because she seems to be very good at that. And she takes that to heart, so now she has the thought process of becoming a good Konoichi and an even greater spy. So she not jumps away, but she walks off, and Naruto starts walking home. And when he gets to his house, he immediately starts thinking about this dude named Gaara. And come the next day, Naruto is trying to find everything about Gaara. Any information that Sakura hasn't already gave to him. So, like, as he's looking through it, he figures out that Gaara's mom died giving birth to him, which hits Naruto a little close to home because he never really knew his parents, and his dad seemed to be a jackass. So Naruto, for that entire day, he was doing research until he figured out that the One Tails and Gaara are constantly in a state of fighting each other for control. So Naruto, taking into consideration the fact that they have to come to his village for the Chunin exams, he takes his concern to Jiraiya, and Jiraiya tells him that they're going to have contingency plans in place for Gaara, and people are going to be escorting him around, and during his fights they're going to have people that know sealing jutsu on site, and plus he's going to be there, referring this to Jiraiya himself. And Naruto looks at Jiraiya and was like, no, I wasn't coming to you for that. I was coming to you to tell you that if we end up fighting and he ends up losing control, I want you to not step in. This immediately upsets and, confuses Jiraiya, as Jiraiya immediately hits him with just several no's, followed by more no. And Naruto tells him that from Jinchuriki to Jinchuriki, I have to let him know that he's not alone in the fight for his sanity. And Jiraiya was like, what do you mean by that? And Naruto starts telling Jiraiya what the One Tails is doing to Gaara. And Jiraiya tells Naruto that if this doesn't work, it could possibly kill him. Like, the One Tails could possibly kill him, given the fact that the seal that he placed on the nape of his neck is strong enough to suppress the Nine Tails past a certain point. And this Naruto tells Raya that if he can't somehow convince the One Tails or, convince Gaara to take charge, then they'll just have to move in before he dies. And if he does end up dying before they can move in, as Naruto's walking away, he says this, as if he does end up dying before they can move in, then that'll just be their fault. But he's gonna go do more training. So Naruto, he jumps off, and when he gets outside the village, he starts training his Titan form as he gets to this field. And Naruto notices as he's training, just his endurance, his abilities, his strength, his speed, his mobility in the form itself, is realizing that it's getting slimmer. And the entire day, I'm gonna say he's been doing that. So right now it's noon. It's nightfall. It's dark outside. So when when Itachi and Kakashi come there to see what Naruto exactly is doing the day right before the Chunin exams, they see this really skinny male version of a Titan. And when the Titan form begins to move, it's almost as if he was just sprinting, not sprinting, but he was vanishing across the room, across the field, although Naruto was just running around. And after Naruto stops the speed blitz, he kind of just crashes on the floor. And he gets back up 5 minutes later, and Itachi and Kakashi have been watching this happen for roughly about, I'm gonna say, close to an hour. So they see Naruto's vast improvement, but it seems like this form, his chakra and power itself, his chakra and endurance, isn't up to the level to where it can support the speed from this form. And Naruto, noticing this and realizing this, he begins to try to tap into more of the Nine Tails power, because he knows that if he can't get past Gaara's defense, he won't be. For the record, the form that he's using is the female Titan. It's just since he's not a female, I'm not gonna make him have to use a female version of a Titan. So it's just a skinny Titan. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. So he begins to trying to tap into the Nine Tails power, and he gets that little slight tinge, and when he gets back up, he's just flying, and he's not stopping this time because he's not using his chakra, he's using the Nine Tails chakra. And although he can only get up to the two-tail state in power, it's still basically an unlimited amount of chakra, because he still is using the Nine Tails chakra, and the Nine Tails has a way bigger pull than the majority of everything. So Itachi finally jumps down from the tree and tells Naruto that it's time for him to at least get some form of rest, because the Chunin exams are tomorrow. So Naruto, understanding this, he comes out of his Titan state, and he walks closer to Kakashi and Itachi. And as Naruto's walking up, he gets this major headache. And in the midst of the headache, Naruto transforms unwillingly into this massive creature standing over close to 100 feet tall. And thankfully, he wasn't really close to Itachi, but Naruto can be seen from miles. So, he can be seen from miles, and the heat produced actually burned Itachi's, forearms and face just a little bit. Well, yeah, it burned his forearms and face because he was close enough to get singed. And it also burned some of Kakashi's clothing off. Some of Kakashi's clothing off. And Itachi and Kakashi are just standing there, and Jiraiya and like a whole bunch, like an entire army of Shinobi appear. And Kakashi tells Jiraiya that Naruto was grabbing his head at one point and then just exploded into this. And they begin to like see if Naruto's gonna move because he's just standing there. And in his head, he's seeing like a whole bunch of flashes that don't necessarily belong to him, or he doesn't think they do, because they feel familiar, but they're not. He, in the form, he snaps back into it and he sees that he's standing like thousands of feet above anybody. Like he's taller than the majority of everything, besides a couple of mountains. So him realizing this, he looks down and he tries to like get out of the Titan, which he successfully does. And the Titan form just starts kind of collapsing as he sees the Shinobi backing up and trying to push it in the opposite direction of the Leaf Village, because if it crashes, it will break the wall of the Leaf Village. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, I don't know. You need help. So Naruto, like, finding Kakashi and Itachi and Jiraiya, he tries to tell them that he saw visions of like a wall and the same type of giant Titan that was up there like broke the wall. And when he starts to reminisce on the other parts and as he's going into further detail, Naruto begins to tear up as he gets closer and closer to what it seems like getting to see the identity of the person that he is currently seeing through. Because all this happened within like a 3-minute interval, so he only got to see so much. So he sees like this Titan. He sees this thing somewhat similar to him pick up this person and bites it, and then everything goes dark. But after Naruto explains that part, nothing but tears are running down his face. And Jiraiya tells him that maybe he shouldn't be using forms so strong, such as that one. And Naruto tells him that he doesn't even remember transforming. All he remembers is, seeing that and then waking up to this, as this massive skeleton is now just sitting there decaying, steaming away. Well, dissolving, more or less. It wouldn't be decay, it would be dissolved because they boil away, basically. Anyway, so, as he's explaining this to Jiraiya tells him, just don't use your transformations anymore. Just try not to. And Naruto tells him that although that's going to cripple him as power-based and skill-based wise, because he was training so much in those forms, he'll try his best not to use them. And Jiraiya was just for safety measures, he puts a seal on Naruto, and it kind of paralyzes him for 3 seconds. And Naruto gets mad and he's like, "What did you do?" And Jiraiya tells Naruto that this seal was experimental, but we've been working on it since you've been a child. It's been to prevent you from transforming into whatever those are. We call them Titans, but we don't know what you would call them. And Naruto was like, if they're called Titans, just call them Titans. But why did you take the ability away? And Jiraiya tells Naruto that if it's causing stress, with him, then why would he allow the ability to continue if it's visibly and mentally causing Naruto stress, and he already has something in him that's stress-worthy enough, referring this into the Nine Tails. And Naruto gets mad and he just walks away, and he's like, "I guess I'll just see you all at the Chunin exams then." And Itachi tells Jiraiya that maybe he should have at least gave him somewhat of the benefit of the doubt. And one of the Shinobi calls Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Itachi over to where he toward the skull of the head, like toward the head of, yeah, just toward the head. Yeah, he just pulls him up, he just calls him up toward the head. And when they look at the head, they see that the eyes aren't green like all of his other transformations. They're silver, and they aren't, yeah, they're not green like his other transformations, and they're not red like as if he was using the Nine Tails power. They're silver, as if he was tapping into something completely new. And Naruto goes home and he goes to sleep and he wakes up for the Chunin exams. And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. The next part might come out a little bit later. I don't know, but this is where I'm gonna end this part off. Peace out.